I thought we'd go vegetarian, but with a little twist. So we're gonna make a vegan chili, and it's amazing some of the ingredients that you can use, and it's really gonna trick yourself. But if you're like my neighbors, Mike and John, that are carnivores, you can take this recipe and serve it to your vegetarian, vegan friends, but then you can have pulled pork or pulled chicken on the side to easily stir in. So we're gonna bring it all together using an ancient grain called bulgur, which is really wonderful used in tabbouleh and lots of different things. You can make it in a Dutch oven or your slow cooker as long as it has that browning saute section. So we're gonna get started, add some great vegetables, and trust me, I'm gonna trick you out about whether there's meat in there or not. Okay, let's get started. So I made one batch in the Dutch oven and then one in the slow cooker that has a saute and browning part to it. So what we're going to do is we're just going to use a little sunflower oil, and we're going to start, and that is hot, we're going to start to saute the onions. When they start to get translucent, not fully, but start to, we're going to add the carrots, about a cup. But whenever I'm using the food processor to grate carrots, what I do is I make extra, put it in a bowl. That means there'll be carrot bread tomorrow on my table. So that's half the batch, is just peeling and working on the carrots. Next to this, I'm going to take 2 to 3 cloves of garlic that's minced and put that right in here and saute this some more. Now you have to watch it, because as the carrots start to sweat, they really don't lose moisture like other vegetables. So we may have to add a little bit more oil. Then I'll do my first batch of kosher salt and fresh ground black pepper. Now, the thing is, when you're cooking, you always want to season, re-season, season, re-season. So taste it throughout it cooks. This is going to cook a couple hours, so we want to give it that chance to really get going. Now, I'm going to move these delicious tortilla chips that are local that we'll talk about in just a minute. But we've got these two sauteing well. So the next thing we're going to do is some peeled and cut butternut squash. You can also use peeled and cut sweet potatoes. It's going to take a little bit longer for the sweet potatoes to cook in this, and you don't want them to get mushy. You just want them to really soften so they can blend in. So at this point, it's time to talk about what's going to go in as that ingredient that's going to substitute meat. That's going to be bulgur. As I said, it's an ancient grain. Nowadays, you can find it in many different healthy grocery stores, and the Fresh Market carries lots of different brands. You're definitely going to want to rinse it. Any grain at all, you rinse thoroughly in a fine sieve, and then we go ahead and we put that in. That grain is going to go right in. Now, when we come back, we're going to add the tomatoes, the tomato sauce, and a great idea is to use the organic chili beans that I found, again, right at the store. So it's a mixture of all 3 beans, so that will make our life a little bit easier. As you can see, the mixture right there. So stay with me. I'll come back in a few minutes. And when this is all done, I think I can trick John Scalzi that maybe there's a little meat in here, but don't tell him there isn't. Oh, it's so true. This vegan chili is going to be just perfect when you're getting ready to watch one of the big games, because next week I'll have chili and, of course, New England clam chowder. I'm a Patriots fan. So we have the carrots that have sauteed down beautifully with the onions, the garlic, and the bulgur, which is this ancient grain that we just rinsed off. Always rinse off a grain first, and then it goes. Now we're going to take the beans, which we have that mixture, the canned beans, which is an organic mixture, black beans, pinto beans, kidney beans. And if you really like the pinto beans, go ahead and add an extra can, that's fine. So I have changed my pot from the saute over to the simmer, and we've tossed in the beans. Now what we want to do is, when we got in the seasonings, I put in a little bit of caraway seeds, just a little bit, not even a teaspoon, but it gives a little dimension to it. So we're going to go ahead and add that. Then we're going to add hot chili powder, regular chili powder, and some cumin. And, you know, although a recipe is going to tell you a specific amount, Go with what you like. I'm not a big cumin fan. I like a little pinch, but I want to have a little extra heat in it. So you can also do 2 dabs of your favorite hot sauce, which is going to be really good. Then you can either use fresh plum tomatoes, cut them up, and the tomatoes are gorgeous. This time of year, you get those aromas over at Yoder's Produce. And we're going to add a 1.5 cans of tomato sauce. Make sure you just buy the basic tomato sauce. You don't want things like basil or anything in that. It'll be a conflicting flavor. So basically, we have it just about done. We're going to add 1 jalapeno that's cut, no seeds. Okay, get those seeds out. It's the film of the seed and the seeds that really can burn the most. And when you're cutting jalapenos, you always put on a pair of gloves. So that way, if the phone rings and then you rub your eye, you're not going to have a problem. As this simmers, we're going to cover it, but we're going to watch it because I'm going to bring you over to this side now where you have a pot already done. If it feels like it needs to be a little more moisture to it because the beans are going to absorb a lot of the liquid, as will the butternut squash and carrots, little vegetable stock's going to be perfect. Now when we come back, you can just top it with a little salsa verde. I'll show you the local tortilla chips that everybody here loves. I don't know why that bag is open, hint, hint. And I'm grilling up some corn muffins, another side that's going to be so good. I'll be back in just a few minutes to serve up something warm.
In the kitchen with Judy, and I'll tell you what, you don't miss the meat. You really don't.
The bulgur. See, try to tell that to John and Mike that are watching, okay? But you have the consistency with the carrots and the butternut squash. It all comes together. And certainly you could serve some form of shredded pork or chicken if you wanted to have
Good, but
that.
it doesn't need it, really.
No, I totally agree. Once you try it, so I tell everybody, try it first, and it just tastes like chili.
And it's very warm and soothing on these cold days. So
yeah, I know.
Nice.
Everybody can hunker in with a cup of that. And so easy. You can start, you know, use your Instapot or your slow cooker, and it just makes for a wonderful, easy meal.
Absolutely delicious. Start to finish time about?
About an hour and a half.
That's not bad.
I
That's not
know.
bad. Complete recipe on our website, mysuncoast.com. Click on the dining button. It'll take you right to the page with Chef Judy's video instructions and the shopping list as well. Judy, thanks very much.
Thank
very tasty.
you. Good. Glad you enjoyed.